time. I said, no fucking way, but I'm too young to be going on any medication. I think that day I went to sign up for the gym, and he gave me like a month or so. He's like, we'll see what, happens. And I came back, and I remember he was like, all right, well, I wasn't expecting that, but yeah, we're not going to put you on medication. From the heart of Long Island, New York, we are inside the GP studios. We wake up today, we go today. This is a Primal Mindset. We are empowering the midlife man, and we are powered by Go Primal Lifestyle and Apparel. It is my lifestyle. It is my brand. We got the hoodies, 50% off. The holiday sale going on now. Go to the website, goprimalusa.com. Use code hoodie50, and you get 50% off all the hoodies. So that's going on now through the whole holiday season. Also brought to you by our sponsors at Alluring Age, Dr. Fandos. These guys are awesome. I've been there a few times now doing the Pinoy workouts and really figuring out a lot of stuff with the blood work and getting all my levels right. I've been on the testosterone for a few months now, or more than a few months, so definitely feel good. Big difference. Some peptides as well. So check them out at alluringage.com. Dr. Fandos here in West Islip, my old hometown. So if you're looking to be the best for the ones that you do the most, definitely check them out. Also, Dad Fuel. These guys reached out to me a few months ago, and it's like, man, the nutrients that are packed in this powder, you make it a shake. It's convenient, which as busy dads, we know that convenience is number one, and nutrition is I would say 1A, 1B with convenience and nutrition. And nutrition is definitely packed in this. So go to Dad Fuel, check them out, use code Go Primal, and you'll get a nice discount off of them. dadfuel.com, and also supporters of the show. We got a really good show. We got Amelia coming on. She is from Long Island. That's a good, that's a plus right there. She's in the Air Force, so another good plus. And she's a registered dietitian, so I definitely wanted to have her come on and, give some good insight. And as, men, we definitely need that nutrition. So, we're going to bring her on. Absolutely. Thank you for coming on. And not only a fellow Long Islander, but in the Air Force as well. So first, I want to say thank you for your service. I have nothing but the utmost respect for, all our armed forces and first responders. So I just want to say thank you for your service.
Thank you. Yeah, it's definitely, this is also new for me too. I'm new to the service, to put that out there. So it's an honor to be in it. I have to say, you also serve those who serve. So I'm very lucky.
Nice. So what, I know you got it into the Air Force kind of late, but you did grow up on Long Island, correct?
Yes. Yeah. So I actually grew up in Belmore, born and raised.
Okay. All right. Not bad. Nassau. I won't hold that against you, but all right. So,
but Suffolk County is better. I actually moved out to Suffolk, and it is just so much better. Different breed.
Yeah, I agree. So what made you, I know you're a registered dietitian, and just reading a little bit about you, I know you were a track athlete in high school. So you kind of wanted to focus more on fueling the body, which, I mean, as I got older, I realized how much nutrition played a part into not only how you feel, how you look, I mean, pretty much everything, how you perform, in all facets of life. So was that the only factor that got you into being a registered dietitian, or was there something else involved?
So, I mean, it kind of initially started, I actually wasn't supposed to become a registered dietitian. I was going to med school, and I wanted to go to med school, and during that time, I was still running, and I actually ended up competing in bodybuilding at one point. And I just found it, kind of like you said, fascinating how nutrition plays a role in the body, not only for aesthetics, but for performance, for function. It really does make a huge difference how you fuel your body. And that interest just kind of never left and grew into a passion. And so I decided to go for to become a registered dietitian. But the only problem with that is I started off in a hospital setting and I got very bored very quickly.
Yeah.
Yeah. So so it was brilliant, but it definitely wasn't my well, you know.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny you bring that up because I mean, there's always this ongoing debate, I guess, between the medical field and nutrition and how they don't know shit about nutrition. You know, with all due respect, that's just, I mean, that's just my opinion too. That they don't really know much about nutrition. Everything is take a pill, you feel better type of mentality, which unfortunately I think is a big problem in this country. You know, and I'm going back to when I was 30 years old, when I kind of first started on my journey. And, you know, at my worst, I was 300 pounds. And I remember the doctor, I went to the heart doctor, went through all this, you know, all the tests. And I was having some major anxiety issues, which I didn't know was anxiety. I just figured something was wrong with me and I was going to die. But that's a whole, I can go into that. That's a whole nother podcast of that. But, you know, he right away, he said the only thing really wrong with you is you have high blood pressure. You know, I want to put you on medication. I think I was like 28, 29, 30, around that. It was around that time frame. I don't know, like 30 at, you know, at the oldest maybe. And I remember looking at him, I said, no fucking way. But I'm too young to be going on any medication. I think that day I went to sign up for the gym and I was like, I'm getting back in. I mean, because I was always an athlete growing up and, you know, played all three sports in high school. You know, all 4 years I was always playing. So, you know, to get to where I was, it was very depressing. And that's when I was like, there's no way I'm going on. I think he gave me like a month or so. He's like, we'll see what, you know, happens. And I came back and I remember he was like, all right, well, I wasn't expecting that, but yeah, we're not going to put you on medication. It seems like you're slowly kind of, you know, getting better and just keep on the same path and you'll be fine, which, you know, eventually I was. But, you know, to kind of go back to that, it was like, that's that mindset of like, oh, instead of preaching like, hey, eat healthier and start working out, here's some pills and it'll get your blood pressure right. You know what I mean? And I was just like, yeah, that's not happening. So that's kind of why I just feel that, I don't know, I think the medical field needs to really factor in nutrition. And from what I heard from, I mean, you might be able to answer this better than me, from just hearing from what doctors talk about, they don't really go over nutrition too much as you know, in the medical field.
Yeah. So, I mean, so just to preface this, anything that I do kind of say is not a Department of Defense endorsed. This is, you know, my opinion or through my experience as a dietitian, you know, not the opinion of the Air Force. But, you know, being in that field, one of the things that we used to, as dietitians, get really frustrated on is that doctors wouldn't listen to us, right?
Right. Yeah.
So, because, you know, unfortunately, so this is just a fact where when I was in school, actually, one of the things we had to do was we had to educate the residents. So the doctors that were in medical school, part of our schooling was teaching them, and it was only one class, right? So nutrition is so complex. It's so, you know, individualized. It's so broad, and yet you have an hour class dedicated to teaching residents. At half the time, they're like kind of sitting on their phone anyway.
Right.
You know, you're trying to like preach, you know, how important nutrition is, because, you know, from a clinical side, you know, it's very important when it comes to, you know, the outcome of your patient. But then you have outpatient where people are just coming in to see you, and they are so quick to throw a medication. Not all doctors, I'll be honest with you.
Right.
The thing is, are the ones that don't have that knowledge or honestly aren't into nutrition or working out themselves.
Right. You know, I see plenty of doctors where I'm like, yo, you're gonna tell me to fucking, like to lose weight? Come on.
Yeah, like you gotta like at least like look the part, like at least like
Right.
practice what you preach, because especially being a dietitian, like if I was if I was going to a dietitian and they didn't look like they took care of themselves and didn't
Right.
look,
Right.
I'd be like, like I don't know if I want to take your advice. So it's really tough because I understand where providers come from and doctors come from in terms of like this is what they learn, and it's very linear. Whereas, being coming from a dietitian mindset, it's so different. And I mean, I don't know if you've heard of like these bariatric surgeries too that are so popular and so quick. People are so quick to just resort right to surgery.
Right. What is you said that bariatric? What is that exactly? Is that the
So, so bariatric surgery in a nutshell is pretty much just surgical intervention to usually there's something called like a Roux-en-Y where they actually they physically shrink the size of your stomach.
Okay, yeah, that's what I figured it was something.
Yeah.
So it's like similar to like the lap band type thing.
Lap band is when they actually put a band around your stomach. That's reversible, whereas like Roux-en-Y bariatric is non-reversible. The sleeve, it shrinks your stomach down to like 3 ounces or like 2 ounces.
Yeah, I
Small.
don't get that. Like, what? I mean, how is that possible to get proper nutrition? I mean, you would have to eat like 36 small meals a day, I think, to
Literally.
to get your proper nutrition in. I would think. Like,
Yeah, so that's
I mean,
the problem. Is that like after people are so quick to look for a quick fix, right? So they want it, they've tried it all, they've done and of course, when you don't have proper guidance, it, might feel like it's your last option. But a lot of times people will go the surgical route, but not even the doctors don't even educate them on the fact
right.
that your whole life changes. Like you can't drink alcohol because you'll have a major problem, or like you have to eat like 6 2-ounce meals a day for like 3 weeks. Like they don't educate them. It's a whole lifestyle. And
Yeah, that's horrible, man. I couldn't imagine. I mean, I love to eat. I love food. I love pizza. I don't like if you told me, oh, you can only eat half a slice of pizza and you're good. I'm like, nope. No,
yeah,
I'll eat 8 slices and I'm gonna work out heavy. Like it's just. I mean, I would say Monday through Saturday, I'm very consistent with my nutrition. Sunday, I do have my day because, hey, we're from Long Island, so that pizza, is too good to give up. So I have my day of eating pizza and stuff like that, and but I mean, for the most part, and people always ask me, how'd you, because ultimately I ended up losing, 100 pounds.
hmm
So how'd you do that? How'd you do that? And they don't like the answer I give them. It's simple: eat healthy and exercise. That's what it is, and that's what it came down to. And like I said, I'm going back, probably when I was around 28 or so. That was when I hit my final. Like that was it. I couldn't handle it anymore. And you know, to this day, that's probably my biggest why was like I was just absolutely hated looking at myself in the mirror. I just hated who I was. I hated everything about me. I hated just my life. And I always said it was like a living suicide because I couldn't do it to my mother, but I just didn't give a shit what happened in my life. And I was just so depressed, so just like I couldn't enjoy anything. I'd go into Yankee games, dude. Like on the outside, I was like that laughing or crying clown, whatever the fuck they call it. Laughing
yeah,
on the outside, crying on the inside. So like that powerful why I was just like, fuck this. And I mean, I don't recommend. Like I went from one extreme to the other, where I was like, I shed like 50, 60 pounds in the first 2 months just because, like I said, going from one extreme to the other, like was able to quit drinking in those 2 months, was going to the gym every day, twice a day, like Monday through Friday, because I would run in the morning and then hit the gym again in the afternoon. Do like a little, that was when I first actually started, got introduced to CrossFit. Um, and it was just like body weight exercises. It wasn't like anything crazy, but it was just like that quick 20-minute workouts where, you know, you're getting it in, because I always worked 2 jobs, so it was hard to find time. But you know, like I said, I went from like one extreme to the other, and I ate extremely clean, you know, dropped 50 to 60 pounds. Um, had my one cheat day, so I was always going all out on that Sunday. But you know, and then unfortunately wasn't able to get sober until I was 38. So, you know, you're looking at another 8 to 10 years of destroying my body with alcohol. So I wasn't able to stay consistent. I never like put all that weight back on, but I wasn't able to stay consistent with going to the gym. And so I was kind of like up and down a little, hovered around like 230, down to 220, then back up to like 230, 240, then back down to you know, because you just, when you're getting drunk like that, you just can't stay consistent with nutrition or, you know, working out. So once I was able to get sober and I you know, shed that last 20 to 30 pounds, you know, I haven't looked back since. And it's just, you know, I still continually just to eat as much whole foods as you can, you know, like it's not difficult. And I mean, it's not difficult to know what to do. It's just difficult to actually do it every day. And if some people they don't have that powerful why, or maybe they do and they're just not there yet. But, you know, it's just a matter of, you know, just eating healthy and getting some movement, you know. And unfortunately, this country, the way the food is and the way society is and the way technology is, it does make it hard for people to do that. So, I mean, I'd like to get your opinion on actually what's going on with, I mean, I don't really like to talk politics too much, but with Trump and RFK trying to going after all the food and ban all the food that's in this country. Did you have an opinion on that at all?
So it's so tough to really say because there's a lot of factors, right? Like, so when you talk about someone's journey, right? A lot of times the thing is, in politics, you see a lot of, this is caused by this, right? Like, oh, this seed oil causes cancer, or this food causes weight gain, right? So unfortunately, with those kinds of things, it can make it very difficult for providers like us, where we're trying to help people, because there's so much information out there where it's like something, we look at it, we think it's so simple, but then we have the media coming in and being like, oh, this, you know, eat this, it'll help you lose weight, or eat this because it's high, you know, or don't eat this because it'll, you know, clog your arteries, or don't eat this because it causes cancer, right? And then what ends up happening is there becomes this anxiety sometimes around food, and instead of eating, you know, you know, a good protein and, you know, vegetables and, you know, whole grains, and then maybe having like a slice of pizza, you know, once a week, or treating yourself, you know, 80-20 kind of thing.
Right. Yeah.
End up really focusing on, you know, they start doing things like, you know, like, oh, I'm going to go on this juice cleanse.
Yeah.
And it's like, I understand where they're coming from, but is it something that's maintainable? And then they end up getting even more stressed because they're hungry, right? So like things that actually affect your weight are, you know, stress and hormones.
Right.
So if you're trying to lose weight, but you're trying to do it in a way where you're avoiding all these foods, where yes, there are things in place that help us to mass produce food, which unfortunately can affect us, but it's not always the end all be all.
Right.
But the thing is, for us, it's, you know, choosing and teaching how to eat a whole, you know, a balanced diet, as opposed to, oh, don't eat this, don't eat that, eat this, eat that. Because honestly, and this is just coming from my experience, you know, living down south, where so Long Island, right? Food is everywhere.
Yeah.
Right? You
Yeah.
have
Yeah. Yeah.
to Trader Joe's, you have access to Whole Foods, you have access to Stop and Shop, you have access to a lot of like even healthy foods out, right? Like meal prep companies, all that.
Mm-hmm.
But then you come down south, you leave Long Island, right? Which was like my culture shock, because I love my Trader Joe's, right? Where everything's
Right.
organic and fresh and all that stuff, right? They have like Whole Foods that you can, you know, grab a drop of the hat. And you leave Long Island, right? And there aren't Whole Foods, and the grocery stores don't have all of that like fresh produce that you normally would have because of like poverty, right? So
Mm-hmm.
fortunately it comes down to like, yeah, like if I could get all my patients and all of my clients to eat whole foods all the time, great. But some of them can't do that because of, unfortunately, like the economy and like like the poverty. So as far as like politically goes, it gets kind of tough, because if someone can only really afford to eat canned vegetables, or afford to eat frozen vegetables, or have, you know, a white roll instead of a whole wheat roll, that's where it's like, okay, we need people how to eat,
Right.
um, and like how to make cognizant decisions, as opposed to saying this is good, this is bad, this won't kill you, this might kill you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, I think really, honestly, what it comes down to is everything in moderation. I mean, I eat frozen, I pretty much will meal prep, for the whole week. Because like I said, I work a few jobs. So there's times where I leave here early in the morning. I don't get home till late at night. And everything I eat throughout the day is from me. I don't, buy anything. Um, so I mean, I have a big bag of frozen vegetables, and I'll just meal prep and cook a lot of them and just portion it out. I eat bread almost every day, whether it's whole wheat, whether it's white. It doesn't, as long as and again, this is my personal experience too. I mean, as long as you eating in a deficit or eating at a maintenance level, you're not going to gain weight. Especially if you're moving around and getting your steps in. So I think everyone, I think that has gotten a bad rap with bread. Oh, I'm cutting out carbs. I'm like, why? You can eat carbs, just don't eat a lot of it. Like, oh, pasta's bad for you. No, it's not. I mean, I literally will weigh it out. And yeah, you don't get that much. It doesn't go that far as, it's not, it's pretty calorie dense food. But make sure you're not overeating it. I mean, and that's just today's, I mean, you look at it, and I'll measure it out, and like, what is it, 200 calories for 2 ounces, whatever it is, so I'll weigh it out, and I'm like, that's 200 calories. I'm like, that's like, whoop, and that's it. So imagine how many people are overeating that and being like, oh, see, pasta's bad for you. I'm like, well, you just ate probably 2,000 calories worth of it,
Mm-hmm.
in one sitting, so I do think everything in moderation. I do think um, educating people on actually, how to maybe track food and how to, know, see how much you're eating. Because I bet you a lot of people would be shocked if they actually kept track of how many calories you're eating a day and be like, I just pick here and there, and I guarantee you're eating well over your calorie limit. So to me, I just always thought everything in moderation. I think you were saying before, like, don't necessarily like cut this out, cut that out. You know, to me, that was the most sustainable. And I've been doing, staying on track and really tracking my food for a long time now. And to me, that was the most sustainable way, was don't cut anything out. And to me, that's worked.
Yeah, definitely. And like you said, you know, knowing what, you know, food tracking is a great tool. I honestly, when I start seeing clients, I think, yeah, obviously depending on the person, it's a great way to see exactly what you're eating. Because you're right, you know, some people might be like, oh, like
Mm-hmm.
I don't really eat that much throughout the day. Like, oh, I only have like two meals, or I have like one big meal at the end of the night. And it's like, okay, you know, I hear you, but do you know exactly what you're consuming? You know,
Yeah. Yeah.
because then one big meal, then it's like, oh yeah, I had like, you know, I had this coffee from Starbucks, and then I had this piece of chocolate, and then I had this like snack, and it's like, okay, like,
Hmm.
okay, maybe we need to take a little bit of accountability here, right? Like, let's
Yep.
actually be honest with ourselves to see what we're actually eating. But then there are also times where you find that people truly undereat too. You know, like you said, like it's very easy to go from one extreme to the next,
Hmm.
where you know, you start your journey, you're on this like you kick started it, you're like doing great, and all of a sudden you're like working out, and you're like, why am I tired all the time?
Right. Right. Yeah.
And then you realize you track your food one day, and you're like, oh my gosh, like I'm only hitting like 1,000 calories to 1,200 calories. You're like, no wonder I don't have any energy.
Right. And doesn't
I
that won't that slow down your metabolism as well? Because your body kind of goes into like survival mode where it's like you're not getting that many
mm-hmm,
calories in. I mean, like you'll lose weight like in the beginning. Obviously, if I ate 1,200 calories, I drop weight like crazy. But then
mm-hmm,
I'd get to the point where I'm like, obviously I can't keep that up. So and then if you do that for a little while, and then all of a sudden you're like, oh, I can't do this, and you start eating up to 3,000 calories a day, doesn't your metabolism kind of be like, whoa, we were slowing down to do 1,200 to find, and now all of a sudden, I mean, obviously that's what happens with the yo-yo diet when people are doing that, why they gain weight even quicker and more. Um, so yeah, undereating I think is definitely just as important to recognize as overeating.
for sure. And like, so there's actually, so I'll explain. So since we're talking, this is called the primal mindset. I'll talk about why this actually happens, and
All
it's
right,
actually
nice.
very primal. Why? So the thing is, so like think about it this way, right? Way back in the day, like hunting, gathering, you know, those days where like food wasn't really as readily available. You had to go out and you had to go hunt food and eat
Hmm.
food. So what would happen is you'd go out, you'd have hunt, gather, whatever. You would eat as much as you can because you don't know when the next time you're going to eat is, and then you would go days and sometimes meet like even like weeks without eating, right? So
Hmm.
the point of that is our bodies are very good at adapting.
Right.
So, and our weight loss is fighting that adaptation. So pretty much what happens is, okay, so I decide that I want to start, you know, losing some weight. So I cut, let's just hypothetically say, I cut like 500 calories from my day, right?
Hmm.
So I cut 500 calories from my day. All of a sudden, my body starts to realize, oh my God, which usually shouldn't, like 500 is like not horrible. I'm sorry. Let me say I start cutting 800 calories from my day,
Hmm.
right? So, you know, the body takes time to like realize that. So it's like, okay, it's starting to lose weight because you're working out, you know, your body's burning
Right.
calories. Metabolism is still working out normally. But then all of a sudden, you start losing weight, you're not eating enough, and your body's like, oh my God, I'm starving. Like, I'm not eating enough to support my survival, my the operation of like my cells. Yeah, you know, like I'm not able to support the systems in my in that's going on right now. So it quite literally is like, okay, I'm not getting enough energy. I'm gonna be really efficient, and I'm gonna slow down the metabolism. I'm gonna slow down
Right. Yeah.
all that burn. So all of a sudden now you're operating at 800 calories less than you normally were. And then that's where that like survival mode goes in, because your body's like, oh my gosh, I can't survive off the amount of calories you're giving me. I have to slow down all of these processes. So that's why you start to see like change is the first thing. The body cares about two things: procreation and survival. The first thing that's going to go is going to be like your like for females and males, it's like your reproductive system. So you start to see low
Hmm.
testosterone, you start to see women who aren't able to, you know, who lose their period. So it's like those kinds of things start to take a hit when you're not eating enough. People don't even realize that.
Yeah, yeah, man. It's like I said, I think it's just important as not undereating as overeating, and really figuring out what your maintenance level is. And to me, I'm 45 now, so and even before, I mentioned before, I'm on testosterone, 'cause it was low, and it wasn't, it was like I was doing the same thing I've always been doing, but I noticed the results weren't there. So I'm like, I don't know what's going on. Like I had to be extremely, extremely on point with my diet and nutrition, and really, the minute, and like I said, I would have my one day, but like and I wouldn't even fall off the rails. It was like maybe I'd have a couple of days where I'm like, I'm gonna eat what I want. Like I literally would like, how am I gaining weight? And it wasn't even like, oh, I got on the scale and it was like water weight. I'm like, gosh, just water weight. Like I can like physically feel like at the end of the week being like, I feel like I gained, like, what the hell is going, like it went like it goes straight to my love handles, which I hate. So I don't love them at all. And like that's like the first place, like I'll notice right away if I'm gaining weight, I can feel it right there.
I
So
know.
going, yeah, so going to Dr. Fandos here in West Islip, and doing like blood work and seeing what my levels were, and we ended up going on testosterone, and I definitely feel a difference with not only energy wise, but I noticed I'm able to enjoy myself a little bit more eating, not being as strict. And I actually was at 2,500 calories. Like I said, on Sundays I eat more, so it's on Saturdays I try to eat like around 1,500. So I'll kind of do that, a little bit of the fasting, where I'll have like kind of like one, maybe two meals, but like one big meal before I go to work at night. And then I'm working at a restaurant, so I'm staying busy. So I'm not, I'm able to do that. And then Sundays, like I said, I'll probably like double up and eat like 5,000, then and try to balance it out for the week. But I did notice, like now I'm eating like 3,000 calories a day, and still in a deficit, where I'm like, I can tell I'm still, losing some fat, because we did the, I don't know if you saw or heard of the Pinoy test. It's like you put on this like gas mask, and you do like it's like all this, you first it gets you resting, where it can see like your metabolism, all these like different levels. And then you ride the bike real fast. So, like it shows like if I'm working out, I think my resting metabolism, like if I didn't do anything like all day and just laid in bed, it was like 2,200 or something like that. And that's just if I laid down and didn't do it. Like basically what they say, just to live, whatever, like your body burns just
Like
just
exactly.
Yeah. So it was telling me like when I work out, and like you have to be honest with what you do working out. And I say, lift weights 3 times a week for like an hour, I maybe one run a day, but I'm always getting like between 10,000 and 15,000 steps in, every day. I'm very active, do a lot of walking. So, I'm able to eat like on days I work out. If I wanted to maintain, it's like 3,600 calories, which is, if you're eating, that could be a lot of food, or, a little food, depending what you're eating. If you're eating McDonald's, that 3,600 will come real quick. If you're eating, yeah, if you're eating, like I do, where everything's from home, and I'm weighing everything out, and I'm looking, I'm like, damn, that's only 3,000. I can do 500. It's just like I can get a lot of food in. But to me, that keeps it sustainable. And I noticed I was able to lift heavier weights. I was able to, build a little bit more muscle, because I'm eating now, and I'm not worried about, oh, if I eat 3,000, dude, it's going to go right to my fucking love handles again. It's, and it gets like anxiety. Like now I'm that 300-pound guy again, like, it would fuck with me mentally.
Yeah.
So it's just, I think, like I said, eating a little bit more, and as long as your levels are right, as being a man, it definitely has helped me, because it's kept me stronger in the gym. And obviously, like, to build up your or speed up your metabolism is by putting on more muscle. So if you're, putting on more muscle, your metabolism is going to be flying throughout the day, and you're able to eat a little bit more, and you're able to enjoy yourself a little bit more. You're not, I can definitely see a difference, pre-testosterone to where I am now, where I can enjoy myself a little bit more with food. like I said, I'm sober, so food is all I got. So food and cigars. So you know, I'm a foodie. I love to eat. I'll try anything, you know, one time. So I'm glad I'm able to kind of like have a better relationship with food where you know, I know if I eat something and it goes right to my hips, then I'm gonna be pissed off and depressed. And um, so that, I mean, that, I don't know kind of where I was going with that, but it was just basically saying I was just kind of going from my experience and you know, like I said, once I got my levels right, to eat a little bit more food and still even that was kind of my point was I think, you know, to stay right underneath that maintenance level, so you're still in a slight deficit. Well, and I'm speaking for, you know, for men, and then so you're able to, you know, lift weights and still build it, because it's very hard to build muscle and burn fat. You know what I mean? And if you're kind of like right underneath that maintenance level, I think you're right at a good sweet spot. It just takes a little bit longer. Like if you want to really drop some weight, it will take longer. So it's kind of hard to stay with that and the patience. And also with me, I noticed like scale is not, you know, that's not the defining factor, because you can be, you know, building a little bit of muscle and burning some fat and scale doesn't change and you're like, dude, what the fuck? And that can really mess with your head. So it does take, I noticed this time around, like just like a lot of patience with me, because knowing like, all right, I'm not really gaining weight because I don't feel it here anymore, but the scale's not really moving, but all right, I'm eating, I feel good, I have energy, I'm you know, able to build muscles. So yeah, I think it's very important to kind of stay like right below that maintenance level where you can still have energy to do things. Sorry, that was a kind of a long rant on
No,
that one.
no, you're totally right about that, because it's like, you know, when as you're the more muscle you put on, muscle is very metabolically active, you know, just to keep on, it needs calories and it needs energy. So you're right when you say, you know, you have to make sure that you're feeding your body enough so that you can maintain that muscle. Otherwise, it completely starts to catabolize itself and break down. And that defeats
Right.
the whole point. And then when you said about the weight, you know, looking at the scale and saying like, like it hasn't changed, but I know I'm putting on muscle and I'm losing fat. Like, what's going on? So we actually do. We actually use I don't know if you ever heard of an in-body.
Yeah, I did that also at a learning age, and yeah, I did drop body percentage of fat. And it's cool. It has like an app, so you can look at everything. So, yeah. I mean, yeah. Go ahead. You can explain it better than me. So.
Sure. So it pretty much it's bioelectrical impedance. So it uses electricity to determine like your body composition. So you have your muscle, your fat, and your water, is what it just, you know, for simplicity purposes. But using something like that or a DEXA scan, whatever is available to you to determine your body composition, is a much better way to track your progress, because it's so tough to look at a scale, because your weight can fluctuate from, you know, from Thanksgiving dinner. You know, you could be, you know, one weight that morning on Thanksgiving, and then you wake up the next day after Thanksgiving and you're up like 10 pounds and you're like, where did all this come from? But
Yeah.
it's like carbs pull water. Carbs
Right.
hold like 1.7 grams of water per gram or something like that. It holds a lot of carbs, hold a lot of water. So when you consume that, the water kind of stays with you for a little bit. But so having something like an in-body, or, you know, something that determines your body composition, it can help your goals so much more, because you actually know what you're made of. Right? Muscle is so much more dense than fat, and a lot heavier. So when you're in um, that stage of building muscle, especially when I competed and I came out of my shot when I was in my off season, all of a sudden, like I was just packing on muscle. Like it was crazy. And I'm like, okay, I'm gaining this weight, but it was just all muscle.
Yeah.
At the same time, you know, my mind didn't go to that initially, right? Because
Right. Yeah.
so lean, and then all of a sudden you look in the mirror, you're like, dang, like I'm not that lean anymore. But having that to compare to see like, oh, like I'm actually really packing on some quality metabolically active muscle that,
Right.
you know, when I go to cut in a couple of months, it's gonna look really good.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
but yeah, no, it's just it's unbelievable. Especially the more muscle you put on. So like say you put on muscle and then you cut, right? And then you put on more muscle and then you cut again. Like you do this like periodization. The
Right,
more you put on, the more calories you require to maintain that
right,
muscle,
right.
right?
Yeah,
So
so you get to eat more, which is good. You
exactly,
know?
exactly.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
it's
and that's like I said, that's what keeps it more sustainable. Um, because I think everyone loves to eat.
yeah,
Obviously, some more than others, and some people do have a problem with that, and I think they need to figure that out before anything else. Um, like I even know for me, like I said, being sober, like that was my like if me and my wife got into a fight, that was my out. I would go and just drink and get fucked up. But now
mm,
I don't have that. So like I still to this day I'm like, you know what, fuck, I'm gonna have a big bowl of cereal. Like just I'm pissed off. I'm gonna enjoy myself and eat this. And in the past that would hurt me because like I said, it would be like at the end of the week I'm like, fuck, man, did that go right to my hips? Like what the fuck just happened? But now I'm able to like I said, enjoy myself a little bit more. But
mhm.
that's that for me, that addict mentality. Like I'm pissed off, so I'm gonna do whatever that to have that quick fix to have my and I would eat cereal and and feel good, and then immediately after being like, oh, why the fuck did I just do that? Now I feel like shit. And so I do believe some people, I think, have to get a better relationship with food and figure some other shit out. um but I think education and how to track food and figure out, first of all, what your maintenance level is a big thing. I think most people would be shocked at that.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. And it seems to be an outlet. Food is more than just, I mean, we eat it every day. It's something
Yeah,
so it a lot of times, like, you know, if we're talking about like the male population specifically, like I remember, even like first responders, like we like the guys, they would either go on a call or they'd have a good call, they'd go get a beer, they'd have a bad call, they'd go get a beer.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Wow.
Yeah,
I know
or
that. I know that. I know that very well. That feeling.
yeah.
You're feeling good. You're happy. Oh, let's go get fucked up. You pissed off. Oh, let's go get fucked up. Is yeah. I know that all too well. So yeah, I think. Yeah. Sorry to jump ahead. You can keep
No.
finish your thought on that one if you're if you need
No.
to, if you remember.
No, no, you're fine. You're fine. Yeah, it's just it's something that is it it has this emotional aspect to it. Because of that. Like it's comfort, it's social, it's so much more than that. So like, you know, on the days that, you kind of like you look for like comfort, sometimes it is food.
Yeah.
Um but with, like I said, with the guys that I used to work with that were first responders, it was just they would cook at the station, they'd order pizza. Who wants Chick-fil-A? They go get
Yeah.
Chick-fil-A.
Yeah.
McDonald's, I'm gonna go. Who wants Taco Bell at 3 in the morning? Like, because it was convenient. um and they were sharing a meal together and they didn't care. That wasn't the first thing on their mind. They're just like, yo, let's go get some Taco Bell.
Yeah.
um,
Yeah. Yeah.
and like have a couple of beers. So that's where it's like, I get it. Like I see it from their side, and it's just it's that's where having someone to kind of be like, hey, like you might want to take a double, like take a second look, like
Yeah.
double yourself a little bit.
Yeah.
So but yeah, it's crazy how much it can impact you.
Mm-hmm. I did want to. I pulled up my InBody thing, so I know the first time I did it, I was at 14.8
Hmm.
body. Now I'm at 14.1. So
Nice.
my goal is to probably get like in the 12s, maybe like 12s. Like I said, somewhere in the 12s, right? Below 13, I'd be happy because I mean listen, I don't need a six pack. I don't need to be all ripped. I just want to, my number one goal is longevity. So as long as I can keep which I think 14.1 is not bad anyway. Um, I
Well,
mean, I'm 6'2", so it's I think yeah, I think it's pretty good. But yeah, I'd like to get like under 13. I think that'd be a really good spot, and hopefully I'm around for a long time. I got three young kids, very young. One, we just had a baby girl, so she's only 4 months old.
congrats.
So thank you. And yeah, we were talking before. I got my boys Santino and Luciano, and I know
Yes.
your nephew is Luciano also.
Luciana. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, and my wife's from Honduras, so it's funny. Like it's I always have that joke. We're a big Irish family, so I got kids who are Italian and Spanish, and but yeah, it's my number one goal is longevity. That's what I want to be around for a long time. And it starts with not drinking. It starts with eating right. And it starts with exercising and staying active. And at the older I got, I think lifting weights 2 to 3 times a week is definitely sustainable for me for the rest of my life. I think that's very, easy to do, in my opinion. Have a couple long runs, 1 to 2 long runs during the week as well to make sure my cardiovascular is, very healthy. That's another thing I think is like everyone says, oh, what's the best workout to lose weight? Whatever workout you can keep
But I,
sustained and keep doing, like that's all it is. And to me, I think lifting weights, because you nailed it right on the head before, like the more muscle you can have, your metabolism is going to go faster, the more food you can eat. And when you lift weights, it's not like you have to keep that, like you can stay going 2 or 3 times a week. The only thing that's going to happen is you'll get stronger. So you lift heavier weights, but you don't have to keep going like, oh shit, now I have to go 5 times a week. Now I have to go 6 times a week. No, you can stay, it's
quality.
pretty, yeah, you can stay on your same schedule. You'll be fine. You can still build muscle. Um, so as I got older, I used to think that you had to go like balls to the walls every day to maintain, keeping my weight down and stuff like that. So I think that was, as you get older, you get a little bit more educated, and I think educating people is number one with nutrition.
Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, like you can't. I used to do the same thing where I was working out 5, 6 days a week, and now it's crazy because like I work out 4 days a week, and I
Mhm.
do 2 days of CrossFit and 2 days of strength training, and then some
Okay.
like an extra day here and there. Um,
Yeah.
but I like noticed the change, and like my workouts are like 45 minutes.
Right. Yeah. That's another thing. You don't have to spend hours in the gym
Hmm.
either. So yeah, like, I mean, you said it. Yeah, 45 minutes. That's perfect.
In and out.
Yeah. What's your go-to meal for pre and post?
Oh God, it changes. I'll be honest. Well, it depends. It it changes. Like if I'm doing like a leg day, I really like Cliff Bars.
Mm,
I really
okay.
really love Cliff Bars. Or if I'm doing like a lighter day, I'll do like a banana. I'm not really fancy. Like I don't really get.
Yeah.
Or if I'm gonna do if I have a 5K like in the morning, I love like a good egg sandwich.
Right.
Like it really all depends. Like maybe my favorite, yeah, my favorite would have to be like Cliff Bar.
Okay. Yeah, they are good. They're definitely good.
Yeah.
Now, I can't, they don't have much protein, or do they? I don't remember. Is
Um,
that more like carb for energy for like a pre-workout?
I'll do it like an hour and a half before I work out for the carbs
Okay.
because like I point like eating enough protein for the day. Because I want my body to use the carbs because like when you eat a carbohydrate, because it's like fiber, so it digests slower,
Right.
um but it's still like right in your bloodstream, so like that's the first
Mm,
thing your body will use. So I'll do that, and then I'm honestly just a big shake girl after I work out.
mm.
I work out later on in the evening, so I honestly have like a shake, or I'll come home and I'll just eat like my dinner, solid carb, vegetable, protein. I'm a
Yeah.
big cooker, so I like to make, like, I'll do salmon or chicken, or sometimes I just don't feel like, I'm by myself, so I'm not really cooking for anybody. So like sometimes we'll do like my girl dinners where
Yeah.
I'll make like, a smorgasbord of like things, but it's always balanced. Like if I do like cheese and crackers and grapes with chicken and like some random, like I pick, but I always make sure that it's well balanced. So
Nice. Yes. It's basically keeping it simple. Just,
yeah.
which I think people overthink that too. Like you see all over social media, what's the best meal to have for muscle building after you work out? And what's this? What's the best this? And I just don't think there's the best anything. It's
Now if you like it, eat it. As long as you're not
right.
allergic, then
Right.
eat it. Like some days, I'll be honest, some days all I want to do is have like, you know, a bowl of soup, and
Yeah.
I like a bowl of lentil soup, but I have rice with it. So it's like it is plant protein, or, it depends on the day. I always try to like make sure that I am eating for success. Well, that's where like eating is, are you eating for aesthetics? Are you eating for performance? Are you eating for
hmm
fuel? Are you eating because you're hungry for fun?
Right.
Like
Right.
what you're trying to do there, you know?
Nice. All right. Well, we actually been almost talking for an hour here, so
Oh,
that was that was no, it's good, man. It's like I said, I like talking nutrition. I like it's just a big part of my story in my life.
yeah.
So yeah, it was just I mean, I could probably talk to you for a few more hours about nutrition. So yeah, I mean, like anytime you want to come back on, I'd love to have you on.
Yeah.
Because like I said, I can talk nutrition, and definitely anytime you want to come on, you're more than welcome.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I had a lot of fun.
Nice. I'm glad. I do want to send you a Patriot, a GP Patriot shirt. It is one of my collections because, like I said, I have nothing but the most respect for armed services and first responders. So part of my my line is the Patriot collection. So yeah, I definitely want to send you a T-shirt. I'll get your address off there. And I'll send you. The smallest I have is a small, so I don't know if that's.
Is it, you
If
could
that
go
would fit.
like the bigger t-shirts anyway.
Okay. Yes. I have a medium is good.
Perfect.
Okay. Awesome. Yeah, I'll send you out one. But yeah, thank you very much for coming on, and love to have you back on soon.
Thank you. All
All right. I'll talk to you soon.
right.
All right. Bye.
Bye.
All right. That was Amelia. Oh man, that was definitely some good information. Yeah, I can talk nutrition all day. So I'm going to do a quick little commercial here, and then we'll be back with the Long Island Matters segment.
Drinks are fun, but alcohol isn't. Meet ProofNoMore.com, the #1 marketplace for the best non-alcoholic craft beverages. We offer the largest selection of non-alcoholic beers, NA wines, zero-proof spirits, and mocktails. So if you're in the mood for a rewarding brew or a cocktail without the booze, give Proof No More a try. Live more, proof less, ProofNoMore.com.
In a world where settling is not an option, where confidence reigns supreme, there's a brand that embodies the spirit of empowerment and refusal to compromise. Introducing Go Primal, where every thread exudes strength and determination. Elevate your experience. Shop now and unleash your inner champion. Because when you wear GP, you're not just dressing for success, you're embodying it. Go Primal, where confidence meets courage. Refuse to settle. Shop now and conquer your world.
Everybody going through it. Everybody going through it. Everybody. But we still gotta pursue it. Gotta do it. Cause we all going through it. Everybody going through it. Everybody going through it. Everybody going through it.
All right, we are back inside the GP studio with my segment Long Island Matters, and now the video was shot by my friend Chris Brennan. Does amazing drone work. Yeah, you can check him out. Dr. Brennan MD on Instagram. He does, like I said, amazing drone work and pictures, and puts it in big frames. He also has a company called @Swigwear on Instagram. Check them out. They do personalized tumblers. As they've got a few behind me right there. So if you're looking for some personalized tumblers, he does those as well. Craze Cleaning Service, another supporter of the show. If you're looking to get any type of cleaning done for your house or apartment, they do really great work. I've had them here. You can check them out at Craze_Cleaning Service. Like I said, they do really amazing work. At Sweet House Ideas, another friend of the show's, Angie. She does all these awesome floral arrangements, silk flowers, some chocolate covered strawberries, as you can see. The mini donuts are really good. One of my favorites. So yeah, if you hit up Angie at Sweet House Ideas on Instagram, yeah, those are donuts. Those are good. Yeah, she'll definitely hook you up with some great desserts. Long Island Prep. My friend Paul Becchione has a great organization here on Long Island, helping out schools and teachers really to conquer the mental health and addiction issues with students and kids, across the country, but focusing here on Long Island. So if you're a teacher or a student and want to get some more information, hit up Paul at Long Island Prep on Instagram, or longislandprep.org, I should say, is the website. He does really great work helping people out. Yeah, Proof No More. As you can see, I was sipping on my non-alcoholic gin and tonic this episode. They're another supporters and sponsors of the show. So check them out, proofnomore.com. Use code GoPrimal and you will get a discount. Pretty much anything that you want to drink that you can get it non-alcoholic. Beers, wines. I just actually had a nice Cabernet, non-alcoholic Cabernet on Thanksgiving. So like I said, anything that you can think of, they make non-alcoholic. So definitely check them out at proofnomore.com. And yeah, I want to say again, my hoodies, 50% off this whole holiday season. Use code hoodie50. Start wearing that mindset to be the best for the ones that need you the most. And yeah, thank you for my guest, Amelia. I had a great time talking to her. Hopefully she comes on again. And yeah, so we'll see you guys soon.